Good morning. Happy Tuesday. And I should have done this before I started, but I didn't to cut everything off. Anyway, just wanted to say hello, and we're going to talk about day 2. Sorry, that alarm went off. We're going to talk about day 2 of the Estee Lauder, the new reformulated Estee Lauder Doublewear Stay in Place Foundation. Anyway, today is Tuesday, February 10th. It is 29 degrees. We're supposed to be up to 70 today. And, you know, this is kind of not what I had planned, but it is pink. I said I was going to try to dress either pink or red all week. So this is what I grabbed. I've got several sweatshirts, you know, that I was planning on wearing that were all Valentine themed, but I knew I would get warm. And it's either wear something a little thinner or have to cut the air conditioning on because it will get warm today in my office with the sun beating down and the temperature rising. So that's why I decided I would just wear something thinner. Now I'm trying to find the products I brought. I'm wearing a different color lipstick today. This is Maybelline, you know, matte ink or matte whatever, you know, the long skinny tube in Inspire and Inspire. It's hard for me to say that. Anyway, that's what I'm wearing as far as lips. And of course, my eyeshadow palette is what I've been wearing for, you know, forever. It seems like ever since, you know, Naked 3 from Urban Decay came out. And I was going to brag, but I didn't yesterday. I forgot it, but I'm going to brag today. Urban Decay commented on one of my videos. Now, they have sent me products before, but they didn't send me that. But the one product that they sent me that I really appreciated was the foundation they have now, the one that bonds to your skin in the summertime when it's so humid. And I do wear that when it's really humid, especially on the weekends, because it's not heavy and it is a great foundation. But here we are, we're talking about Estee Lauder today. And supposedly the Doublewear has been the top selling foundation in the world for years, and that there's ever so many sold, you know, every 2 seconds or something, you know, some outs. Who verifies that stuff? And, you know, there's a lot of people that are not on social media that wear this foundation. They've worn it for years. And that's why I'm kind of being so detailed on this one more than I am some others, is because it is iconic. Now, if you look at makeup artists and stuff like that, you don't see that many using it. But I've always said with makeup artists that are celebrities, you don't know what's being sent to them and they're having to promote. So that's why I take all that with a grain of salt. You know, there's some that are Dior artists. There's some that are Chanel artists. You rarely see one that's an Estee Lauder artist, and I think that's because they don't have to. You know, this is what I consider appealing to the everyday person. Now, I know $52 is a lot of money, but this foundation does last a pretty good while. And if it's, you know, like me, I'm buying foundations all the time, but if this is your only foundation, you know, you're going to get a good 3-4 months out of it. And I don't think that's bad. Now, I know that's subjective. Some people don't want to spend that much, and that's fine. And there are some great foundations at the drugstore. Don't get me wrong. But there's just something about Doublewear that I've always said that is special about it. And, you know, I'm not trying to hype it up or anything, but there's just something special about it. Maybe because it's been out for so long, it's iconic, and it's been so long since they reformulated. All right, now let's get on to it. And I'm not sponsored. I bought this with my own money, as I said yesterday. And I don't think I even showed you the shade. I mean, I told you the shade, which is 2W1 Dawn. Now, I've been wearing 2W0 Warm Vanilla, and I did see it online, but my belt did not have it. So they still do have it. But I think this color may even be even better for me. You know, maybe the vanilla was just a little bit too light. I don't know. So, of course, the Estee Lauder does not come with a pump. You can buy a pump separately because they had so many people request. The main reason I think this doesn't have a pump is the pump gets clogged. And you have to constantly wash it. You know, you about have to wash it every time you use it because of the ingredients in here. There's a lot of silicones in here, which is what's causing it to stay on your skin, plus not, there's other products in there that work with the silicones to help it stay in place and not migrate like a lot of foundations will at the end of the day. Okay, one thing I want to make sure you know, I do not use powder when I use this. The only place I have powder on is I did set the concealer, and I used the Doublewear concealer today. Now, I decided I'd put the color. I have two in. They are almost identical in shade, so I wish I had just a little bit lighter shade, but this one will have to do because I'm not buying another one until this runs out. So you have, as far as face, minus the eyeshadow and stuff, you have Estee Lauder. All right, I'm going to show you what this looks like. I know I'm wasting foundation. I've got a Kleenex down here. All right, if you put this up against the old version is not going to run like that. And that's coming from, I think, the sodium hyaluronate, the hyaluronic acid. So I'm putting this on my hand, and I'm going to show you the difference between the two. So you can see how much smoother this hand is than this one. All right. So there you have it. Now, I'm going to insert the footage from the end of the day yesterday so you can see what it looked like at the end of the day. Now, I started taking off my eyeshadow before I realized I hadn't recorded anything, so you'll see me minus the eyeshadow. So I started to take off my makeup, and then I realized I was supposed to take a picture or whatever. Anyway, I've taken my eye makeup off, part of it, and I took my lips off. So this is what you have left. Now, the main thing I see is, you know, a little bit of wear on my nose, but, you know, I'm used to that. And maybe a little bit of wear right here, which is normal. But, you know, from a distance, you're only going to notice my nose. Now, like I said, I may have gone over my nose with my wipe that I'm using to help take off my eyeshadow. I don't know. So that's maybe why you're seeing more. I failed to do what I should have done. So we'll try again tomorrow. All I can say right now is I think day one was a great day with it. Now, the true test will be when the humidity gets up and we're too hot weather. But for now, I think it's a great foundation. I think it's just as good as the original. And again, I'm going to say I think it's slightly better for me. Now, I'm not going to say that it's going to be that way for everybody. But for me, I think this new Estee Lauder foundation is better than the previous version. Sorry, y'all. I stopped it so I know where to insert the footage, and I had to cough. I'm talking so loud. All right. Now, I thought it wore about as perfect as you could get yesterday. There was a little bit of wear on my nose, as is normal. Now, if I put some powder on my nose, it might not have worn, but I think there would have been I would have really have to have applied it thinly in order for it not to cake on my nose, because my nose, even the best powders and stuff, sometimes wants to cake. Now, I do need to do a really big exfoliant. I haven't done the L'Oreal one in a couple of weeks. I need to do that one, and I need to do just some really good exfoliation, because I'm turning over. I can see that, you know, when I put on my makeup, that my skin's starting to turn over. Of course, I've been putting on tretinoid for the past couple of weeks, one time a week, you know, real 1% tretinoid gel, not the cream, gel, which is stronger in my opinion. And so my skin's starting to, you know, just starting to flake. Anyway, again, I'm just going to put it out there. I love it. I think, I mean, I'm going to say it's better than the previous, not the original. The original was years ago, but the previous version, it's better, I think, for mature skin. Now, again, I want to emphasize, if you have extremely dry skin, you will need to moisturize heavily, and I would make sure that you exfoliate well before you apply it. But I think it would be great for pictures. You know, I'm not saying that it may not be an everyday foundation for you. It is for me. And I know I have to eventually decide, do I like it better than my Dior stick? And it's going to be a hard decision. But I know which way I'm leaning right now. But anyway, I just wanted to come on and give the update. This is day 2. I have on no primer today. I do have on sunscreen. I wore the Dtrmlgy sunscreen that is a little bit more moisturizing than others. So we're kind of going to see how it holds up underneath or over that sunscreen that is a little bit more moisturizing. It is zinc. It is the zinc oxide one. It's not the chemical one they make. But we're going to see how it holds up over that, because I do believe that one is more moisturizing than most of the sunscreens I use. So I got to go to work, y'all. I hope y'all had a great Monday, and I hope you have a great Tuesday. So talk to y'all later. Love you. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Click the thumbs up. Leave me a comment. And if you want to join the membership, I'd love to have you. Talk to y'all later. Love you. Bye. Once again. And I know I need to probably just stop saying it, because I forget it every time. But onward and upward.